Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Robin.
And I'm Troy.
And today we wanted to talk to you about loyalty status with cruise lines. If you are new to cruising or you've just been on a couple cruises and you really don't know what all it's about or if it would benefit you to have loyalty status with a cruise line, we're here to talk to you today specifically about Royal Caribbean. And if you want to learn, then come on along. You might want to begin at the beginning and ask yourself, what is loyalty status with the cruise lines? Well, it's no different than any other rewards type program where the more you go to a service or buy a product,
It's like perks.
Yep, you're gonna reach a certain level. They're gonna give you points, whatever you want to call it. It's just basically a way to ensure that they get your money over other people because
what does it take? What does it take to get there, and how long does it last?
Well, that is pretty easy. What it takes to get there is you got to cruise. You're not going to receive any points unless you get on a ship. Now, once you're on the ship, typically you get 1 point per night on the ship. So if you lay your head down, you get a point. Now, the nice thing about that is that these points never expire.
Right.
So unlike other things like hotels or a lot of airlines, those kind of things where they want you to redo every year and you feel like, okay, you just got close to getting a certain level and now the year's changed and you got to start all over, right?
Pushing that rock back up the hill.
Yes. So in this case, cruise lines are very, very kind to us in that they realize most people are not going to cruise several times a year. Now, we do, but we didn't used to. So it is something that is really nice. So it is for the life, at least as of right now. So you start earning those points from your very first cruise all the way through. And then
we've seen little babies on cruise ships earning points.
Exactly. So if you have a pulse and you paid or somebody paid to put you on that ship, you get points. Now, that is really different than a lot of things because in most ways, if you're a family, kids don't typically get to get points. Now, I know airlines will allow children to earn points and stuff like that as they travel, but you don't always get that. Typically, it's only the adults and the kids kind of come along. But in this case,
you're telling them, how do they get them with Royal? How do they earn those points with Royal?
Well, exactly. So that goes back to one night, 1 point, unless you're in a suite, then you get double points. And if you are in a suite as a solo traveler, what? I mean, if you got the money, you can actually earn triple points.
Oh, my.
Yeah, because if you're solo traveling at all, you actually get your double points. And the reason for that is because whenever you're on a cruise ship, and you've rented, you've gotten a cabin, that cabin you have to pay for double occupancy right off the bat. And if you're a solo traveler, Royal, this is not everybody, Royal is kind enough to give you double points for that. So if you go on a 7-night cruise as a solo traveler, you actually get 14 points.
Right,
but
which is huge.
It is huge and you're going to level up really fast. But in most cases, you've probably got a travel partner, a spouse, a friend, a family member.
This is another situation though where it invites it's more inviting for solo people. People gives you a reason to not use that as an excuse not to go on a trip.
Absolutely. Right. And again, a lot of cruise lines do not give you those extra points. We know for a fact Carnival is one of them that does not give you the double points. So you pay double the cost, but you don't get double the benefit. The long-term benefits of gaining loyalty status for you and your children is really great because, again, these dependent children are going to earn points with you while they travel with you as children. And then whenever they reach adulthood themselves, many of them already have a higher level of status that really is great because they didn't even have to pay for that status and you didn't have to pay anything extra for them to have
and
that
currently
status.
They last forever.
Currently they last forever. Like you said, we've seen people that are just small children that are going diamond plus, that kind of thing. The next question is going to be, what do you get for these levels?
What are these perks you speak of?
And there you go. So this could be things such as priority boarding and disembarkation, discounts on things such as specialty dining, Wi-Fi, different drink packages you can get extra discounts on. You can actually get free Wi-Fi once you reach a certain level for a certain number of devices, certain number of days. Oh, discounts on laundry, which is really good whenever you're on a longer cruise.
And you don't want to pack a whole bunch of different clothes, a whole bunch of sets of clothes.
That's right. The dining options, there's just so many different things that you get. And also, here's something, if you're new to cruising, whenever you get to the ports, you're not always able to get right up on the port where you can just just walk off the ship and you have to take what they call it is a tender.
It's a taxi.
It's basically a water taxi.
Right.
And by getting to a certain level, you will get priority for getting off the ship at port too.
Right.
That goes a long way for you to enjoy your time at port, making your excursions, all of that.
Yeah,
so
that's huge when you get on and off the ship. That is.
Absolutely. Now, here's something to think about. Not only can you reach a certain level with Royal, but there are certain other lines that do what's called status matching.
Right.
Now, that is really great because you can earn a certain status with one line,
like Royal,
and Royal, and then another line will honor that status, even if you've never sailed with that line at all. One of the big ones within the Royal family is Celebrity and also Silver Sea.
Right.
Now, I don't know that we'll get on Silver Sea anytime soon, but we very likely could get on Celebrity here in the near future. And that's great. So why go on Celebrity, try to earn points there, and try to go on Royal and earn points there when you can just go on Royal
and earn points,
or just Celebrity.
Status match, yeah.
And then you can walk over and you automatically get that priority boarding or that discount or whatever, maybe even a balcony upgrade. Those kind of things are really, really, they're a huge savings over you having to do it yourself. Now, there are a couple other advantages to getting a status with one line is that even outside of that line, currently that we know of, there are at least 2 other major cruise lines that will honor your status with Royal or whoever you have status with.
One is MSC.
And the other one is?
Yes.
Virgin Voyages. Currently, Virgin Voyages and MSC will both take your status, whether you're with Carnival or Celebrity or Princess or Royal or whatever. All you have to do is prove your status with those lines, and they will give you an equal status with them. Why would they do that, you ask?
They like you. They like you. They want your business.
They want your business. They want your business. And if it takes them giving up a little discount or a little perk here or priority boarding that really in the long run doesn't cost them much, but they get your business over you going back to that other line again, they're going to do that.
Right.
I think that's smart.
It's incredibly smart.
Smart. Now, whenever we're talking about earning these statuses, what does that get you? Right? I mean, and again, we're talking about points per night. But how many points do you need to really get to a certain status?
Well,
do you remember?
I know where we're at. I know where it takes to get the diamond.
Speaking of which, I was going to say, and where are we at? Diamond. It took us a little bit to get here, but really not that long. We got to diamond in less than 3 years.
Much less than 3 years, yeah.
Yep. And now, before I go over the number of points that you need for each one of the levels, let's also talk about spouses and domestic partnerships. So if you are somebody that sails more often, maybe your spouse can't get away from work as often and you have some family or friends that you can travel with, you may earn status long before your spouse.
Right. And you might be in a situation where you might have been in one of those 20-something day cruises solo.
Yeah.
And that might double the points on a 20-something day cruise. And now you're looking at 40, 50 points.
Or let's talk about this. You've been cruising for a long time and you're single. And now you've met the person that you want to spend your life with. And now you've married them. And you're like, come along with me. Well, guess what? They can honor your status and they get those benefits as well.
Right.
I actually had a story.
I don't know if there's anybody else that does that. We know Royal does.
I'd have to do some searching.
Yeah.
Like I said, we know because we're specifically talking about Royal. That's the one we've gotten more into.
Right.
We know that this one for a fact. In fact, there was a story a few cruises ago that a lady was telling me that her and her husband, she was a little older than me. She was in her early 60s. And her husband and her had traveled quite a bit, and they had reached pinnacle status. Now, let me start right there by telling you, pinnacle is 700 points. 700 points is a lot of points.
Whether that be a mixture of suites
or solo travels or whatever.
Altogether, that's 700 nights.
It's still a lot.
700 points.
It's still a lot. So, and unfortunately, her husband had passed. Now, she had been single for a few years and wasn't sure that she would ever get married again. But, 3, 4, 5 years, I don't remember what she told me. Whatever it was, she ended up meeting a gentleman, got remarried, and he had never cruised before. So they get married and he gets to not only walk on with a pinnacle, but he gets to be pinnacle. never having been on a cruise before. Now, you got to admit, that's an incredible perk. That's incredible. Now, in our case, I had a little bit more cruising on Royal than he had.
Couple more.
He had more cruising on Carnival. And whenever I reached Diamond, he was able to get Diamond too. So we are thrilled because we just reached Diamond status actually this month.
Yeah.
February. Yeah, we just got off the cruise ship in February 13th. So we've got Diamond now. So whenever we get on our next ship, we're going to have that priority boarding. We're going to have all those other little perks. Now, let's get back to how many points it takes. We're going to run through these very quickly. Whenever you first get on the ship, you got no points, you got no status. Yeah. That's basically it. Right. Okay. But after your very first cruise, you're guaranteed to at least be gold.
Right.
Why, you ask? Because the shortest cruise that Royal has is a 3-night cruise, and you must have 3 nights to be gold.
Right.
So unless you got on the cruise ship, got off, and did not get back on,
which almost happened to me one time.
Right. Unless you got left in port, had a medical emergency, and did not get back on the ship, once you complete your first sailing, you're at least gold.
Then the next one is platinum at 30 points?
30 points.
Okay,
yes. Platinum is 30 points. Now, all of these different names, you might see the similar or same name on another cruise line, but it doesn't mean that the point scale is going to be the same. Right. You got to pay attention to whatever line you're on. Now, the next one is going to be Emerald. And that's at 55 points.
55.
And I really feel like they put Emerald between Platinum and Diamond just to make you feel like you accomplished something, because honestly, there isn't much more with Emerald that you didn't already get with Platinum. I mean, it's kind of a wasted level. But because of the fact that you have to go from 30 points on Platinum to 80 points on Diamond, I think they just felt bad.
Right. They want to make you feel like you're getting somewhere.
They did. They said,
making progress.
Let's just throw something in there at 55. And really, like I said, not much of an improvement there.
And then the next one is where we just stumbled up on. That's Diamond at 80 points.
80 points. Right. 80 points for Diamond and 175 points for the next status of Diamond Plus. Now, I have to ask myself, okay, we went from Gold, Platinum, Emerald, Diamond Plus. Could y'all not figure out something else to call it? Like, everybody was just really bored at this point.
It was between Plus Diamond and Diamond Plus.
I don't know, but it's just like, pick another element or gemstone or something. I feel like Diamond Plus was kind of a lazy way to title it.
That's 175.
That's 175.
Okay, right.
And then after 175, now 175 is kind of a weird level. Diamond Plus has sub-levels within Diamond Plus. Again, I guess they decided that they wanted to give you some more perks between Diamond Plus at 175 and Pinnacle, which is at till 700.
Right.
But they didn't want to actually make it an actual level. So within Diamond Plus, you will get a few more benefits. And you know what?
Is it at 350?
I'm going to have to look.
Is it at 350? I think it's 340 or 350.
I think it's 340.
Right.
I think it's like 540. Okay. 350. Yeah, you get a few more things at 350. And then I think it's another level or another number. Anyways, whatever it is, you get a few more things in the Diamond Plus category, but you have to get the more points to get there. Now, one of the big things, if you are in the Diamond Plus and you get to that certain category, like I said, I think it's 540, but don't quote me on that one, is if you are a solo traveler at that point, you actually get a huge discount on that double cost, what they call the solo supplement.
I think what is it, 125% instead of 200%?
Instead of 200%, instead of having to pay for basically 2 people, even though there's only 1 person in the room, they charge you 1 and 25%.
Right.
So 25% of that gets added on. So you're saving 75% of that second person that's not in the cabin with you. You're saving that every time you solo travel after that, which is really nice for those people that do want to cruise a lot.
Right.
Just another benefit that other lines may or may not give you. Carnival doesn't give that I know of.
Right.
So again, solo traveling, really, it's kind of a no-brainer. In this price point, unless you have a lot more money and you want to sail with more expensive lines, in this price point, I don't think Carnival, Norwegian, I don't think MSC, even Virgin Voyages, I don't think any of them have quite those benefits with the solo travelers to give you double points and to eventually give you the opportunity to have a much reduced solo supplement. So
yeah,
I think that's really big.
Right. I mean, how about some of the benefits at Diamond?
Okay, so let's talk about those. So now that we're at Diamond, which is, to be honest, you get some cool stuff with Platinum. Like I said, Emerald doesn't really give you much more than Platinum.
Diamond,
but Diamond really does.
Right.
So you get a few things. The big one being
the drinks.
The drinks.
Okay.
The drinks. 4 free drinks per day up to, it's either $14 or $15. $15. I think they just recently changed that. And
per person.
Per person.
Right.
So per diamond. Per diamond. So if you're diamond and say you're traveling with your cousin, your sister, your boyfriend, somebody that's not diamond, whatever it is, they don't get those drinks, but you do.
Right.
But in this case, because we're both diamond, we will get 4 drinks per day. Now these drinks can be anything. It can be it can be alcoholic, non-alcoholic. It can be your specialty coffees, your fresh pressed juices. The only thing that does not allow you to do is 3 things. The actual Starbucks location, which is weird because the cafe still has the same coffee as the Starbucks location. So you can't go there. You can't go to the Bionic bar, the little robot bar that's on some of the. No, I don't think it's that. You can't go there. And then there was one other one that you can't. Anyways, there's 3 things that those drinks won't go towards. Now, if you're a wine drinker, there are some additional benefits with that, and they give you a certain percentage off a glass of wine, off a bottle of wine. You also get some discounts off specialty dining. You get some discounts off of like
the at the Johnny Rockets.
The Johnny Rockets, yeah. Those kind of things, they really add up. And again, you do get discount off your laundry. So that's a big benefit. They give you an extra little like thank you bonus or whatever on your card if you want to go to the casino for all these levels. And as you move up, it's a little bit more. But these things really add up. So what we like to do as much as we possibly can is we want to get on the ship and maximize whatever our level gives us. Oh, robes too.
Yeah, I really like robes. Yeah, she liked the robes.
I like having the robe in the room. But we want to maximize whatever it is that we get off our level, because honestly, if you're not going to maximize it, then it's kind of waste.
I mean, use the perks. I mean, it's real money. It translates into real benefits, real perks, real money. So.
It does. And the more you cruise, you're going to see that those little things do add up. And if you can find a way to maximize that, like if you're not a big drinker, at 8 drinks per day,
we will struggle to get to 4 between the both of us.
Even if we were drinkers, which he'll have the occasional drink, but I don't drink alcohol at all. I don't need a specialty coffee. I'm fine with what's in there. But we never really had to deal with drink packages. But if you're a lightweight drinker, or you're somebody that likes a variety of sodas and all kinds of stuff, and you're paying for even that deluxe package, well, guess what? You wouldn't have to buy that. That is a cost savings every day. And that's for however many adults are in the cabin, because they all have to buy the same package. At least once you get up to the alcohol, I think. So anyways, in the long and the short, is it worth sailing with one line to get loyalty status?
I think if it's not something that you're going to immerse yourself in, yes, I think it definitely is. It definitely is.
I think so too, because if you're somebody that only cruises once a year with your family or once every 2 years, if you're spreading out your cruises across several lines and you're doing 2 cruises here, 2 cruises there, you're not going to reach status with anybody. Ever. So you're not going to have those benefits. It's just not going to be really worth it. Now, does that mean that you didn't enjoy your trip? No. Of course, you're going to enjoy your trip.
You're going to have a great time.
But the long-term benefits of cruising isn't just for what it's going to give you now, but what it's going to give you in the future. And for people, that's why you see a lot of older people on cruise ships, because it's a great way to travel whenever you're in retirement, whenever you get to where you have a little bit more limited mobility, but you still want to see the world. Cruising is the way to do it.
Nothing like taking one of those long cruise / Uber rides over to
you don't want to fly, you can get on a cruise ship. So if you get into that thought process of not how you just want a vacation now with your family, but what do you see your vacationing look like in the long run? Getting to a status with any cruise line that you enjoy and you could see yourself cruising in the next 10, 20, 30 years. Exactly. That is the time for you to really consider getting loyalty status and sticking with 1 or possibly 2 cruise lines, even if you just stick with 2 and you can maximize. Now, when is a good time to not worry about sticking with 1 cruise line and maybe shop the field a little bit?
I don't know. She's going to tell you. It's a lot of times, probably.
The biggest thing is, obviously, if you're looking for certain sailings out of certain ports, you want certain port of calls, or if you're somebody that's traveling with somebody else, so maybe that already has status, you can walk on the boat with their status. there are reasons to try out other cruise lines. Also, if you don't try out another cruise line, how do you know if you'd like that one? You may like that one better. Some people might start with one cruise line, like both of our first cruises were on Carnival separately with our families. And then we ended up actually cruising more with Royal right now. Not to say that we don't like Carnival. We're going to still cruise with Carnival. But right now, the benefit is to us, we're getting better deals from Royal, both in the casino and all the way. Yes. So whenever you're looking at just locking yourself in one cruise line and you won't even consider another one, you're going to be subject to their itineraries, their ports, their ships, and their prices.
Right.
Because the prices, the dynamic pricing that goes on in cruise lines can really affect your bottom line to be able to cruise. So if you've got more than one line that you're able to sail with, even if you haven't reached status with the second line, but maybe you will with enough sailings, having more than one and being able to shop both for your best deal is a huge benefit. Now, another time to not stick with one cruise line and just shop anybody is if you're looking for a repositioning cruise. Now, we went to Spain out of Galveston last year, and that was on Royal. So we got a lot of points on that because it was a 16-night cruise. But in our case, we weren't locked into Royal for that. I just happened to find a good deal. If I would have only been looking, I didn't know it was a one-way cruise. That's a whole nother video. We keep laughing about that because it was the best cruise mistake I ever made. But if we would have only been locked into Carnival, we might not have found that one. Now, Carnival repositions cruises as well. But again, whenever you're looking at repositioning cruises, you're going to have a wide variety of dates that they may not line up, and they're not happening constantly like normal cruises whenever you're going on a 5 or 7 night and they're just going all the time. You've really got to hit those repositioning cruises at the time that you can go for the price that you're willing to pay. And if you limit yourself to one or even two lines on the repositioning cruises, you're going to miss out on some really good things.
Or you're going to wind up spending a lot more money.
Yeah. Now, we have some friends that are actually doing a repositioning cruise next year in March. Hey, David. Hey, Cece. And what they're doing is they're leaving Galveston on one cruise line on Princess. They're going all the way back to Barcelona because they were with us last year whenever we did it. They're staying in Barcelona for only 2 nights. And then they're coming back on a Carnival cruise that's going to take them to Miami. And then they only have to fly home from Miami. Guys, that is an incredible trip.
Yeah,
and we haven't even ruled it out. We haven't booked it, but we haven't ruled it out at this point. And we've never even been on a Princess before, but that might be a good time to try it because most of the time these repositioning cruises put you in a place where once you get to that destination, you don't always have a cruise that's leaving out of there to take you almost all the way home. I mean, Houston, Galveston to Florida is a very short jaunt. So it was incredible that they were able to find that itinerary where that lined up, where they were only in Barcelona 2 days. Now, if they were going to be there a week, I think they'd be fine with it. But if they couldn't come back for a month or two, I don't think they would have wanted to do that. They would have had to fly home like we originally did.
And pay for a month staying over in Barcelona.
So it was just an incredible deal. One that they never would have considered if they wouldn't have seen it from the different lines. So if they would have just been stuck on one line, they would have missed that itinerary.
And they were here just the other day and kind of reiterated that you're only going to live one time. So you never know what your time's up. So take advantage of it. Do it when you can because one day you won't be able to.
Yeah. So the long and the short of it is the Royal Caribbean Crown and Anchor, we are very pleased with the loyalty status. We're happy to be going
rewards
on the next cruise as Diamonds. And that will be our first time experiencing that. And we
get to go to that other line.
Yeah. We actually have some Pinnacle friends, that we have to bow down to because they are Pinnacles. I don't know that we're ever going to get Pinnacle. But yeah, so think about it. Think about whenever you're cruising, not just for this trip, but for other trips. Because the bottom line is I flew to all kinds of resorts in Mexico and everything else. None of those resorts were giving me perks. They weren't giving me nights and stuff that I could earn for life, that I could use into my retirement years to travel. And I spent a lot of money with them, a lot of time with them, with my family going down every year, sometimes multiple times per year. None of those actually benefited me to this day. I only had that experience then. So just think about that whenever you're looking at travel, whenever you're comparing things, and whenever you're comparing cruise lines. Think about, is this a cruise line that I would really want to be on long term for the next decades of my life? Or is it something that maybe I like them for now, and maybe I also need to consider another line to gain loyalty on? Because if you do get loyalty on more than one line, I
Right.
think it's going to give you a lot more
Options
options.
later on. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Plug in
think,
and go where you want to.
yeah, I think that's great. So, anyways, that's the long and the short of it.
Come on. Like and subscribe.
Like and
If
subscribe.
you're still here, we're gonna. If you're still here,
We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep making videos. You're stuck with us, so you're going to see our faces at some point. Hopefully, if you don't like us now, maybe you'll like us later. But we're here, and so yeah, if you're already supporting our channel, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We love our channel family, and we look forward to sharing more things with
and
you.
need
So
more folks out on the seas.
that's right. That's right. So until next time, thank you so much.
Dos dedos.
Bye.